Hey, are you in need to increase your cash flow, or in other words, take home some more money? Is your credit in bad shape and you have no idea how to fix it? And you know that you need to save and invest and don't have a clue of where to start? We want to pay attention to this. I'm gonna react to a gentleman named Terrence Hill, and he came across an opportunity called My Economy, that provided access to tools and opportunity to accomplish all three of those things and many more. So we're going to get into his experience with this opportunity, and I'm going to give my reaction. And if you have questions about this, feel free to put them in the comments below. And if you want to get started with this opportunity, we'll put the link in the description as well. So let's get into the video.
In addition to that, we're going to show you how to make.
Now, so he gave this presentation on Facebook Live from the MyEcon corporate, and so right now the one of the co-founders from MyEcon is giving just an overview of what MyEcon is and what they do, and so we're about to get into the experience of Mr. Hill. So I'm gonna just skip to 5 minutes in. All right, here we go.
Leaders from around the country, and these great leaders literally, and they share with us some of their great successes, some of their history, the things that they've gone through, the things that they've accomplished in my econ, with the desire that it's going to encourage somebody, edify somebody, that they're going to be able to say, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it. Because I think all of us need that moment and that assurance that if somebody else can do it, we can do it.
And to see, this company is full of people who have been able to completely transform their finances and their lives using this opportunity. So we're going to see, and they're just everyday people, as we're about to see.
And the night, and the gentleman we have on tonight is really, really special to me because he's originally from Georgia, and we down here, we like to, y'all heard me say I'm a Georgia boy. Well, this is a Georgia boy too, right? I mean, we end up spreading all over the country, but this is an original Georgia boy, so you'll know what one is like tonight, right? And so that's real special to me. And I remember meeting him. He's going to tell you his story. But the thing that I really appreciate, he's a family man, respected in his community, respected with those that work with him. And what others say about you is what's important, right? Everybody got an opinion themselves, but what others say about you. So he's well respected, throughout his community and my econ, his family, everywhere. And he and his wife, Desiree, they have done some things that are just absolutely amazing. Came from humble beginnings to going to the level of becoming millionaires. And that's what it's all about, being able to build assets, build capital, grow your business, and become a millionaire. So we're just proud to, and I just.
So it just sounds like an everyday person, blue collar guy like myself. That's what I find encouraging um, about uh, him sharing his experience with the company. So hey, let's learn more about Terrence here.
Just proud to have him on tonight. And so I'd like all of you to welcome Mr. Terrence Hill. Give me some stuff down in the chat box, some love, some hearts, something down there that, just lets me know that you appreciate him getting on tonight. So, Terrence, if you just say hello to everybody, we can get this party started.
All right. Well, first of all, Mr. Stokes, I just have to give it back to you because you're the visionary. Without you, well, MyEcon probably wouldn't exist. You and the co-founders and the staff, thank y'all for the tremendous support. Anytime we need anything from an associate base, y'all are there to help us out. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Greetings to everyone on the call that's joining us on this call tonight. I hope my words will inspire you. Just like when Mr. Stokes was talking to me, it got me inspired and I never quit. So, hello, everybody. Greetings. Thank you so much, Mr. Stokes.
All right. Hey, that's what it's all about. I'll tell you, you know. Um, and he's a protector, you know. He and his, you know, he and his wife both. I mean, retired military. Hey, that's we all owe them a big debt, right? We enjoy freedoms every day because of that. So before we get into, so Terrence, we appreciate you being here tonight. But before we get into anything, can you just maybe tell us a little bit about your background? You know, about who you are, a little bit about your life beforehand.
Yes, sir. I sure will. Like Mr. Stokes said, well, I'm a Georgia boy, Georgia native from Perry, Georgia, small.
Now, see, so what we're going to see is we're going to see somebody that doesn't have, an extensive background in business or an extensive background in technology, but they were willing to learn and apply themselves. Um, that's really what I appreciate, especially about this interview right here.
City. And what I found out was I just needed to go into the military. To make a long story short, I went into the military and I spent 20 years serving, faithfully serving the country. And but while I was serving, that's when my econ found me, okay? And we was living, we had more month than money, all right? I think people can relate to that. And one
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that, and I know I know a lot of people watching this can relate to this. Hey, pay attention to this.
the big thing was I could not show $1 saved for every hour that I worked. And I was 12 years into my military career. I had some rank. I was a
Now, who ever heard of that rule? Having $1 saved for every hour worked. That's a good rule to live by. But how many of us are doing that now? Mm.
staff sergeant at the time, and I desired time freedom. Okay, so what had happened was my wife ended up getting a big bonus, and she had a guy, which was her platoon sergeant, talk to her about the tax ramification on that bonus. So real quick self-awareness, Mr. Stokes kicked in, and because I was already at a place where I owed the IRS, and we was got about to get a bonus, and I know IRS gonna get what belongs to.
Nah, man, them bonuses, they when you get a cash bonus from work, man, they tax the fool out of them things because they just tax at a higher rate. So I feel him. And he was already paying taxes. Man, that's tough. That's tough.
IRS, and they will take a little bit more if you give it to them. So when I got introduced to my econ, my why was time freedom. Mr. Stokes, I remember back in the days where we had what we call the American dream. And that is what I've been fighting for. And my econ was the perfect platform, the perfect system. It's the only one that I'm aware of today that will allow you to attain the American dream. A lot of people think the American dream is dead, but it's not. Here's a little bit of my testimony, Mr. Stokes, just to show.
Yeah, what they call the American dream is dying slowly for more and more for people, but there's still opportunities for people to accomplish what they want.
People, I got to the point where I could come up with a strategy because it wasn't about the money. Yeah, I was a soldier, you get paid on the 1st and the 15th, but you have to have cash flow at the end of the month to take you to the next month. So I didn't have that. So I went from not having it to giving away 10%. We do tithe. I tithe. And then we got to the point where we was investing 50% of our income. We put ourselves on a 40-40-40 plan just to see if we could survive. And Mr. Stokes, we are in Amarillo, Texas right now, surviving. We live thriving, not surviving, thriving. In and we'll just finish the rest of it by this interview. Whatever questions you ask, I'm sure I'm gonna add to.
Man, that's phenomenal. They went from having not enough money to having so much extra money that they can do their proper charities, their proper I can't think of the term, but anyway, they can give away to causes they believe in. and invest half of their income, man, that's some good stuff right there.
All right. Well, hey, that's what it's all about. Starting where you start and having somewhere you want to get to and putting forth the work to do that. And I don't know of anybody that's been more consistent than Terrence. I mean, he came to all the meetings, he did, just all the events, he helped his team, built relationships, and he's got a team all over the country. So it's just been amazing to watch him grow during this period of time. And I was telling the group, because I talk about, all of our different leaders from time to time and just kind of use their story as something that I relate to. And one of the things that Terrence has always done that I love is one of his favorite sayings is keep it positive, and to me, that's, you got to have a code that you live by, right? So here's this keep it positive. So that's what it's.
Now, I just want you to think about something. This is you got Terrence Hill, and then we got one of the co-founders of the company here. Think about the CEO at your company. How close of a relationship do you have with that individual? So you may have a good relationship. Most people don't even know the CEO's name. They just know when he comes, we got to clean up everything. We got to be on P's and Q's when they come around. And when they leave, we go back to business as normal. But notice the type of relationship that that Mr. Hill and Mr. Stokes have. So that's something to be noted.
All about. So, you got involved in my econ. You started to you had a goal of improving your finances. What was the first strategy that you implemented in my econ that kind of got you excited or motivated out of all of our strategies?
Wow, that's good. Okay. Like the one that really got me excited was the first one, and that was the W4 adjustment dealing with cash flow management, ladies and gentlemen. Like the reason why, it brought awareness to what I gross and what I net. I never knew how to read. In the Army, we call it LES. I never knew how to read a pay stub, gross and net. I wasn't aware of that. And so when I made that first adjustment and I brought back $550 into our household, that was a lot of money back in 2008 when I got started. That was a lot of money, and it helped me clear some of that debt up. And the biggest strategy, though, is the investment, Mr. Stokes.
Now that's very relatable to me. You'd be surprised how many people don't know the difference between gross and net, or what the different items on their pay stubs mean. Um, so, because we don't get this, if you don't get this financial literacy education from maybe a class at school, or maybe your parents and teach you, you could be uh, you could be lost out here. And that's where Terrence found himself. But notice how that one strategy completely reversed course of where he can start paying off debt by taking out $500 a month extra. Woo.
The investment strategy along with the personal cash flow plan. All right. I got to give that the most credit because you said it earlier, own a piece of America. All right. And when you have a personal cash flow plan and you are investing to own a piece of America, you will have the money to buy whatever you kind of want to buy. But just because you can afford it, don't mean you should do it. And see,
All right, so I just want to break down two things here. He mentioned the W4 strategy. That is a strategy. Basically, one of the first things when you get started with this program, we show you how to fill out your W4 form accurately and properly. Because most people are over with hell. I think the average refund is close to just under $3,000. That's money that's being over with hell, and that you could be using day in and month out, paycheck, pay period in and out. That you could be money. He was able to adjust his W4, fill it out properly, and he learned about the different deductions he can use from starting his own home-based business. He was able to put an extra $500 a month back into his household. Now, that's one thing. The second thing, the cash flow strategist, it is a software that you get, all members of MyEcon get, that you put in your information, and it comes up with a plan that that shows you how to get out of debt, what you need to do to get out of debt by a certain date at a certain time, much faster than making minimum payments for years.
That's what the personal cash flow plan allowed me to stay on track and control my emotions throughout this whole process. So the investment piece, uh, that's my strongest. I love it. But the initial was the W4 adjustment, that first strategy, Mr. Stokes.
All right. Hey, well, a lot of us get excited about that thing, that W-4. I remember when I first heard about it, I didn't have a W-2. I didn't have a job at the time, but I was like, man, this thing could change lives all over America. So for those of you out there listening, so what you're telling us is that you got in my econ, you learned about the strategy, and you just simply changed your W-4 from the amount of money that the IRS was taking, and you brought home, and so you brought home an additional $550 a month to the household without recruiting anybody or selling anything.
Exactly.
See, that's mind blowing. See, that's mind blowing. That's what separates my econ from every marketing company in America. See,
I just want you to think about something. What would you be able to do if you all of a sudden you actually had an extra $500 a month come back into your household? What would you be able to pay off? What bill would you pay? Would you be able to save? Just think about that.
All the other marketing companies in this country, what they think is, well, you've got to you got to sell something, but everybody's not good at sales. And so what happens then? Does that mean that if you're not good at sales, you shouldn't get in marketing, you shouldn't start your own marketing company? And then if people don't have the marketing, then they don't get with the sales, then you got the other people, like financial advisors. A lot of those people, what they like to talk about is, well, you got to cut back. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm a family man too, and the family don't like it when you say cut back. They don't like that at all.
Especially
They
the
be like,
females, Mr.
well,
Stokes.
yeah. So you know how that goes, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They want.
Have you ever have you ever seen somebody, maybe they've started marketing their own company, maybe they start selling their own products online, maybe they started a YouTube channel or a TikTok channel, start making some extra money, some good money, but they end up blowing it. See, this company, this opportunity, this membership prevents you from doing that. And instead of helping you to just survive, it'll help you to thrive.
Hear that? They like, well, you the head. You supposed to be out there getting more, because we just kind of like it how we doing it and don't mess with it.
And to be honest with you, Mr. Stokes, that's why I like the investment part, because you're right. They want us to get more, but we get tired sometimes. But when that making money, that's when you don't have to work as hard. And I remember receiving guidance from you, Mr. Stokes. When I first started back in 2008, the economy was kind of like something similar to what a lot of people might think it is right now, how it's feeling. They might think it's doom and gloom, but it wasn't. And I remember I copied your strategy. I remember you told us about, at that time, it was, I think, a pharmaceutical company. And we helped.
Did you notice the keyword guidance? Guidance from Ivy Steps, guidance from somebody, guidance from others. You're not by yourself with this opportunity.
Science is where, we was given instructions. And so we put the money there. And I tell people all the time, I copied everything Mr. Stokes told me. Ain't nothing wrong with copying anybody. You just got to make sure you're copying the right person. And so, and once I started seeing the numbers on the investment grow, I knew right then, Mr. Stokes, my econ, you guys were the truth. So I just had to put that in there. And now that I understand investing for myself now, it has compound. So yeah, I just had to throw that in there.
That is good. That is so wonderful.
Now, how many of y'all know what a stock is, a bond is, an investment account? Yeah, some of those things. A lot of people aren't taught that. A lot of us ain't taught that. You get taught that in this membership and the importance of it and ways to get started. Um, so in this membership, you get access to all that information because we don't just want to work for money, but we need the money to work for us.
Wonderful. That's what motivates me to do this all the time when I see people's lives changing. I've got a saying that I like sometimes. You don't have to work for every dime you get. I know some of you have heard people say, I work for every dime I get. And when somebody said that to me, I'm thinking, well, that ain't smart. I want to get some dimes I don't work for. And the way you do that is through investing and using strategy. So that is absolutely, fantastic. Now you were talking about our strategies, how you change your W-4 and then that allowed you to get rid of some debt and you start investing. So how do you tell somebody or explain what income shifting is to somebody that's never heard it before?
Yeah, and I really be very basic because I remember when I first got started, Mr. Stokes, I didn't even understand. And so I was like, man, I spent my first 4 years, I was learning. And that's when I was minimizing my taxes. So I could keep that money, income shifting, hint, income shifted. So the money that I wasn't receiving, this is me explaining income shifting, bringing that money back from the government in by way of IRS, okay? Getting rid of the debt, bringing that money back from the bank. Anything that you borrow, you must pay back with interest. So income shifting basically is bringing the money from the people who's taking it away from you. That's what I will sum up with income shifting in a nutshell. And here's why I say that the way I'm saying it. I want you to understand something. And Mr. Stokes, I heard this from you too. All right. It's not going to be my econ. It's not going to be your job. It's not going to be another degree. It's going to be your own money, which is going to make you wealthy. So that's why I want everybody to understand the power of income shifting, taking your money back from the entities, the bank, the government by way of loans and taxes, and get your money and you invest it. So we can have some dimes that we don't have to work for too, Mr. Stokes. That's income
All
shifting
right.
in a nutshell.
I like that. That's simple. That's exactly what income shifting is. I love it. I can't even say it no more better.
Yeah.
That is powerful. It's just that simple, guys and ladies, and it's that powerful. Go look at your paycheck and see how much of your paycheck goes to debt and taxes, you know, and I think you will get mad and you'll say, I want my money. I'm the one that worked for it. So to me, that's just powerful, just changing your life. And I promise you, when you do that, you're gonna get motivated. And when you're doing that with my econ, it's really good. And I know that that you and your wife, Desiree, y'all have done some great things. You've been able to live your some of your dreams. And I know one of your big dreams was you wanted a dream house. You and your wife, y'all wanted a dream home. So tell us a little bit about it. I know you guys have been able to do some big stuff down there in Texas. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Mr. Stokes, you're right. And all because of my econ. We are living. We built a house from ground floor, Mr. Stokes, and we just always had a vision. I remember back when we was in Atlanta 2016, and we become Infinity at that time, and I was telling people about RSVP, research, study, visualize, and put everything into practice. And Mr. Stokes, we was carrying that dream back then. We wanted to own our time, and we wanted to build our dream home together. And so we couldn't find a home out here in Amarillo, Texas. We was looking for some homes for convenience, just to hurry up, and then we was gonna build. So we was just like, bump it, we just gonna build. We did buy a home. We bought a house. And
Shout out to Amarillo, Texas. How much a house is running out there? Let me know in the comments how much a house is running out there in Amarillo and other parts of Texas, or even just in your hometown or where you are.
and we sold it. And then the market went real good. It was a seller's market. So we didn't need the house. We were just going to stay there till we built our house. So we sold it. And then we found the land and we found a builder and we just started building our dream home. I'm talking about my wife was the really one in charge. I was just behind her because she supported me so much. And then, Mr. Stokes, it got to a point where the upgrades, I said, okay, baby, that's enough house. You got everything you need. And so, but I made her write the check out just so she could see and the testimony, giving all the glory to God. I have to do that, Mr. Stokes, that she could see how blessed that we are. And so the add on to the dream home, I still had a dream, ladies and gentlemen. And my dream was to speak to the youth. All right. And now I'm living my dream. I also get paid to go into the schools around Amarillo and the surrounding cities, and I get to pour into the kids lessons, values that will help them be successful. So after we all hit the American dream, hopefully we could do what the good book said. We could leave an inheritance for our children's, and whatever dream and desire that your heart have, you can attain it too. Learn this concept, Mr. Stokes.
All right. Hey, that's what it's all about. I tell you, it's that's what it's about. Is when you, especially when you have a family, you have that special person in your life that you can share your dreams with. And so I know you guys. I've seen pictures of it. Maybe I'll get to see the actual house sometimes later summer. I'm coming. I haven't been to Texas in some years, and
So let me know in the comments if you're looking to buy a house, maybe upgrade your house, maybe build one like Terrence did. Expand. It's tougher and tougher now because things are getting so much more expensive. That's why this opportunities like this are so important.
but I tell you, it's a Texas size home. Okay, yeah, I know they like to build them big down in Texas. Wow, really? Good thing they got plenty of land in Texas, so that is fantastic. And and one of the things that is just so amazing about Terrence is that everybody respects him for being a great person. That's important. Your character is really important. And and also I was, and Terrence does a lot of marketing on social media, and he does a lot of face-to-face marketing. So if you'll take just a minute or two and tell us a little bit about how you market, and how you've marketed online, and then how you've marketed face to face to build your business. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah. And first, I always start off with a testimony, to be honest with you. And when I start off with my testimony, regardless whether it's online or offline, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Just be authentic. Be authentic. Mr. Stokes said earlier, start where you start. And I just started where I started and stayed consistent. And I just meet people where they are. Now that I got some experience up under my belt and I find out where they are.
Just think about how many maybe you've seen other opportunities and people faking it till they making it, or showing off extravagant stuff that they've gotten with this opportunity. But compare that to what the simple strategy that you're getting right here.
I meet them right there. And I just pique their interest and ask them, do they have the same desire that my heart had? Okay. And my heart still have. And that's to be free. Okay. Time freedom. All right. And so once I ask them, do they want time freedom? That's when I let them know tonight you could join me. I'm going to be talking to my mentor. This gentleman here is the leader, the visionary of the company called My Econ, which is the personal financial success company. That's how I became financially successful. Or I would just online show a result and I will type some kind of testimony to go with it, or how this person started from point A to point B. And people always want to know how. They always want to know how. And once again, I invite them to see something else. Okay. Even though I know I can explain very well to them, sometimes the people that's the closest to you, You want them to know, but they're judging. So I didn't want to be judged. So that's why I use the automated marketing system that MyEcon has. And I just send them the information and it teaches them because they can't judge the system. So that's how I build online. But face to face, I will pull out a pen and paper. Numbers don't lie, Mr. Stokes. And if people be transparent with themselves, even though it takes a mental shift, it takes more of a mental shift. But when people see the numbers and you show them with confidence that you could change their current situation and improve it through a financial transformation, when they're ready, this system will help. And I just lead them to the system and I teach them, Mr. Stokes. So that's really how I do online and that's how I do offline.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, that's what I love that, because literally I do believe that when you sit down with someone and you just talk to them about the strategies. I tell people, I don't lead with the business. I lead with the strategies because that's money that's going to be coming into your household without you having to go recruit somebody or talk to somebody. I said, now, once we can get you convinced that you want to use that, then we can talk about building a business because now it's just simply referring people to what you've already done. But I've been to a lot of trainings in my life because when my econ leaders, we have.
I just want to say this: this strategy is so powerful because it takes the pressure off of you and puts it on the system. It puts it on um, the tools that you have, so you don't have to be afraid to get started. You don't have to be an expert to get started. You just use the tools and the that you have at your hand, and everybody has access to. He mentioned the automated marketing system. There are actually daily presentations that you can use as well. So it simplifies the process.
Some super, super talented leaders in my econ, one of which is Mr. Hill. But I sit in the classrooms and I listen. So I've probably seen more trainings than anybody in my econ. I've seen more of my econ leaders train. And you did a social media training one time in Washington D.C. This has been some years, maybe I don't know, 8, 10 years ago, and it was powerful. It's the best one I've ever seen because I see so many people that say, "I want to do social media. I want to do social media." And I think they miss an important step. And the step that you said was you've got to build a following. And the way you said that you did it was that you joined over 200 groups in a year. Tell us a little bit about that and how you went from just, you know, 40 or 50 people on social media to thousands of people. Tell us a little bit about how you built a following on social media.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes I forget. Thank you for resetting me, Mr. Stokes. But yeah, at that time, what it was just like AI. So AI always been around, ladies and gentlemen. I used the system, and this is what I did. I promise you. I used to tell my wife, I said, "Hey, baby, my wife used to like to go to bed. We was in the army doing more by 6 in the morning than most people do all day, and my wife liked to go to bed at 8:30. Well, no, 9 o'clock, 8:30. We used to pray with the kids, and I just had my vision, and I was focused, right? And so I was just thinking, how could I make all this happen?
8:39. I sound like my wife. She want to go to bed that early.
I'm gonna pray with my wife, pray with the kids, stay with my wife in the bed for 30 minutes. At 9 o'clock, I go upstairs and I had to find a system that allowed me to join all these Facebook groups. And I go ahead and do I pre-type stuff that I wanted to send and set up a time that it's send. And it'll join the group first. It'll go, I click on all groups, it'll join the group first, and then the time it'll drop that message that I want each group to hear. Not at the same time because Facebook used to put you in jail, but it'll drop it. So that was from 9 to 11 that night. On my lunch break, while I was working, I could go back and start responding. Now, all I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen, is adding value. Like you heard Mr. Stokes say, I don't talk about the business. I will say the company name if it come up, but I just add value. When you show people how to solve a problem, when you are the solution to their problem, that's when people, you have their ears. And so it just went viral. And so I went from hardly any followers to over 9,000 followers. And then I could talk to these people every time I made a post in those groups, and that person liked that post. I went in that person DM and I said, whoever that person name is, let's just say, oh, you're more than welcome, Shakira. Let's just say that person named Shakira. All right. And I'll be like, thank you, Shakira, for liking that post. If you don't mind me asking, why did you like it? What made you like it? Now, one thing about it that I've learned in life, questions controls the conversation. People will tell you everything. And once they give me the ammo, I'll be like, okay, I can help you with that. I show them the solution. All right. So if you're taking those, just always remember, ladies and gentlemen, questions controls the conversation. All right. And all you have to do is be a great listener, even though we reading online, but just listen. Don't jump in too quick to go for a sale. Just listen. When you listen, you will learn. And when you listen, you have 100% chance of getting it right. But if you start trying to push the business out there too fast, you got a 50-50 chance, because you got a 50% chance of getting it wrong. I want you to have the 100% chance of getting it right to solve the person's problem. And that's Mr. Stokes. I probably went a little too long on it, but
No. That was
that's how I got into those groups and increased my following. And the value came just from attending training and fixing my own personal finances.
that was perfect, because that's the best social media training I've heard, and I've heard thousands of them over the last 10 years. Because it's just common sense. It's just day to day. This is something anybody can do. Start joining other groups, and then you get in those groups and just add value to their conversation. And eventually, somebody's going to end up in your direct message box, in your DM. And from there, and especially if you're an authentic person, so it's just a matter of time before you start getting followers, and followers turn into my econ members. And that's what we want. So, I tell you, it's been a pleasure just listening to you. And I know that, because I've known Terrence for many years now, and I've watched him grow. I've watched his family.
All right. So what you saw there was Terrence, a real person getting real results with this real opportunity, not rocket science. It was implementing some simple strategies that income shifting, adjusting your W-4, just sharing the results with other people. He got big results. I've been able to use this opportunity to fix my credit. I was in the 500s when I started with this opportunity. And I was able to increase my score to over 700 plus, removing, I believe, 6 collections from my credit report. So completely changing my credit profile. I was able to go from renting a townhome to buying a house. I never thought I was going to be able to do so. And I've got a 6-figure investment account, and I'm just getting started. I'm looking to do a lot more. So if you if you have questions, feel free to ask them in the comments of this video. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to put my link in the description, or a way to get in contact with me in the description of this video, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. I appreciate you tuning this in. But what you saw today was powerful. A real person getting real results, completely transforming his finances, increasing his cash flow, starting investing, built his own home. And he was able to do so in an authentic and real way. You learn how to increase your cash flow today after watching this video. Also, you learn what you need to do to get started, and some simple strategies to be successful moving forward. So I appreciate you tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Give me a follow or subscribe if you're on YouTube or Facebook. Give me a follow, and I will holler at you guys later. Look forward to working with you.